Please rise for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Please remain standing for silence in remembrance of Dennis Carl Martell Sr. and all his. Well, Chris, Rich, Brian, here, Nick, here, Jan, here. All right, start with a public session for agenda items only. Looking for public session, agenda items only. Seeing and hearing nothing, moving to the district building report. Mr. Casino, good evening, sir.
All right, we are 11, and we are 95% done. The electrician was there today, hooked up the outside signage. Didn't need real thinking from AJ's time, but we got the other. Other than that, we used the meeting room for our November meeting, and we just have to probably work through the noise issues and stuff like that, just to get used to it, because you can hear the RTUs running and machines running, but they only run for a short while at a time, so it's not real loud, but it's just something I think we just need to get used to, and maybe look down the road. I don't know, some way somehow, maybe we get some maybe Wi-Fi speakers, so when the people speak from the front of the room, that they can, hear a little bit better, a little bit clearer. But we'll work on that. It's a work in progress, so we're not gonna jump into anything really quick. We'll just figure out what we need, and then we'll come back to you guys and say, what do you think? And we'll suggest some stuff for you.
Okay, and we don't do much for sound here, but we don't really have the same.
What happens is with the open concept ceiling,
Okay,
and we don't have a lot of things on the wall right now, so things echo.
right.
Because it's got nothing to absorb the sound right now. That's why I said we have to work through a little bit of this, get some stuff mounted on the walls, get our.
Basically, give it a couple months and see how the acoustics are.
Because, I'm a patient person when it comes kind of to this stuff, and our team over there is, pretty patient. Chris was talking about it when we had a larger conversation with like 2 or 3 different conversations. The room probably had 40 people in it, and Chris would say it sounded like kind of bouncing around, echoing. But as we get more stuff and pieces of the plaques and everything on the wall, we'll just see how that unfolds before we do something stupid. We don't want to go buy something stupid and then say we didn't need it.
I mean, I guess just monitor it and, if it's something similar, some places put like acoustic panels in that absorb stuff or.
When Joe's done, I can add to
that. Like I said, the electrician is done. At this point, the new lights were ordered because the lights that were there were not a bright light, so it's dim, and that they were almost like a restaurant style lighting. There were only 1,800 looms, and what they had ordered now was like 43,000 looms to be dimmed down to that. He told me they were ordered, and they should be here 2, 3, 4 weeks, and then they'll come back and assemble that lighting and get that all lit up so it's proper lighting like this. But other than that, we're wanting TVs. We're starting to get stuff hung over there. Downstairs is in really good shape, and we're just working upstairs. So, thank you to Bob, because Bob's been right there, toe to toe with everybody. So we're doing well.
No, I think I've said just about every meeting. You guys have been great with this, and
I think we're on the down low.
That'll be an asset to this. Bob, anything that's there too?
Yes, well, I'd like to spend a couple minutes going over the finances. I did send out a Dropbox, a separate email, and I provided you with a couple of the spreadsheets so that you would have something to look at. As promised, I wanted to try and give you a breakdown as we come near to conclusion of the project. And on the contingency fund, now the contingency fund started off with 121,000, and that's to be used for change orders. And because we were able to rectify some of the change orders and actually divert them back to the architect or divert them back to a contractor, we were able to restore money in there. As you remember, it was down to like $9,000. So right now, contingencies has a remaining $30,565. We don't really anticipate any other change orders that will come out of the contingency fund. Might be, a couple dollars, but not a lot. So on the incidental budget, based on the project, it was based on incidental would be approximately 40% of what the budgeted amount of the entire project would be. That's where we get the $814,470 that, of course, included architectural fees, construction management fees, all types of fees associated with funding, and then pretty much everything else. I was able to get this updated. He had a meeting today with Ed and Adara so that we could make sure our numbers matched, and we're very comfortable where we are. So to date, and that's also fit up in furnishings for all the furniture too. So don't get confused if you're looking at the estimated costs and the actual. It's really the actual. We kept the estimated cost so that we could keep it at the 814,470 and then use the actual as what we've spent. Because you might say, well, we didn't spend 40,000 on borrowing costs. We know that. We know we didn't do that, but it's just left in there as a ticket item that balances out the 814,000. So you can go through and take a good look at that at your leisure. But I think more importantly, what I want to direct your attention to is, where are we going to go from here with using some of the unallocated money as we spoke about. These are some considerations. Replacing the agent SCBA breathing air compressor, upgrading our new server, door access replacement parts, and also district AV upgrades. Other related building items, 15,000, well, excuse me, 46.5 for the compressor, 16 for new server, door access, and district AV upgrades. Other related building items, 15,000. Just to echo what Joe said about some of the problems that they may be having with the acoustics in the room. So talk to Ed and Adar about that today. Again, there are systems that can be placed that look aesthetically correct, that can be put on the wall panels that could help with the acoustics if that continues to be a problem. We can't get into doing baffling silencers and stuff like that. That's going to be a whole lot more money with the HVAC system. Okay, the rooftop unit, you're talking like a lot of money there. Okay, so I don't think that would be a fix, but for a reasonable amount, and that's why I'm recommending that we leave that 15,000. Or if there's, just like here when we did this building, it was like, oh, yep, we forgot that. Okay, we're going to come across things that we're going to say we forgot. And then miscellaneous fit up for the building. There's still a lot of little gadgets and things and door stops and door holders and just a whole lot of things that, we don't want to buy, Home Depot grade to some extent for some of this stuff. You want to get commercial grade stuff because you want it to last. So $2,000 for the fit up stuff. And they're going to come across several things that they're going to need for rooms and bulletin boards and whiteboards and stuff like that. So that would bring our total use for the incidental side to $629,359 from where you saw it on page 2 of it's approximately like $75,000 increase to what you see on page 2. So that brings us to like 708,000. So that's still leaving us $132,000 that we would not have spent on what the project could have cost. We still also have, there's like $175,000 that's left from the bond that we didn't even add into this. That was that was the monies, because you didn't go to the bunk room, so that money was always out there, and we never like added that here because that wasn't part of this project. Right, Sean?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
And as I recall, the previous discussion, we could use that for the first year's payment or something, is that the plan?
Yeah, any unexpended funds and interest that we earn on this can be used to pay, it's supposed to be used, that's all it's supposed to be, it's used to pay off the bond.
But that's good, because that's one or 2 years, you know, money towards the bond.
Right.
In the budget,
Correct.
and it can flow to apparatus or whatever.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
So it can replace other money.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
It's a shell game, but it's an above board shell.
It's a legal sign.
It's a legal shell game.
Legal, yes.
So, I mean, essentially, we could be like under budget about, 160,000 from this project here, not considering that other money. Right. And then I just on page 3 of the incidental new district server. So that would be to replace the district server that sits here. Okay, that's 2016 server software. Like Mike Sipperly and I had a good conversation. He basically said if something were to happen to that, they're not even quite sure if we'd be able to fix that. The good thing that you'll see on that quote with the server, and that's in Dropbox, the quote was in Dropbox, that they offered a 7-year like warranty for that server. He said, and they don't normally do that. And he said that was like about, I think, $1,000. He said, but that's really good. And for that new server at like 9,000 something, is actually a pretty good price. To get some spares of some parts that we know routinely break that we should have, so that when there needs to be a swap out, we can. We would also, as part of the district upgrades, as part of this project, we would get a large screen TV for here, because we know that this is reality. This system breaks down a lot, and for the cost, it would be well worth it to have a backup here, because we know that would not be as complicated as this Crestron system. Then there would be about $2,000 left in there that we could see what Weinskill may need for some other type of Zoom camera. So we would have a little bit of money left over so that we could see what we could do there.
Do we?
Yep.
Over Reliance still, did we already purchase like the display and all that?
We did. That was purchased before our conversation. That was approved a while ago. They have their TVs. They're two 85-inch smart
much are they?
TVs. They were like $1,000 each.
I just think it's worth considering an interactive one. We have a couple old ones at school that aren't interactive.
Yeah.
And I mean, just before we make another purchase, I just quick texted our tech director, he said they're about $3,000.
Yeah.
Um,
That's something that we can do. Of course, you could see that
yeah,
there is some money set aside here. And when we finished this project up, you kind of did the same thing with Weinskill. We kind of dovetailed them in on some upgrades to bring some things up to the district level that was here at that time. Just think it's smart business, especially that some of these systems will be lasting 10+ years.
Once we have a server that, I don't want to say on Band-Aids, but we know we're limping this one along.
Well-
Then there's some things I think that we can also do that are gonna be to our benefit. With regard to just it's something as simple as the website. You know, and because I you know, I don't, probably have a discussion for another time. But I look at other fire districts, what they're doing on their website, public side, membership side. Our members can see our policies, they can download forms, they can communicate, you know, without sending out I am responding messages to people that are trying to sleep and whatever. You know, a lot of that function can happen on the member side of the firewall. And it's kept from public scrutiny, kept out of the public eye. So, I mean, there's some things we can do there. One, we don't have anybody to do that right now. And two, I don't know that we have the technology available to us. So what Bob's talking about there, I think is a great idea because it's going to allow us to be able to have the hardware capability at least go down that road.
Yeah, and just, I mean, our server is working okay right now.
Yeah.
The issue becomes if we have a problem, we're probably not going to be able to do upgrades to it because of the year it is. So at that point, we're just trying to be a little proactive here when you look at a disk for the server for the entire operation at under $10,000. That's a pretty good price with the 7-year warranty on it. So
Flipping along was probably.
yeah, well, I just wanted to make sure you knew that it's, you know, it's not like we are having problems. And I'm not about recommending to the board, like, oh, let's buy something when it's working. It's just sometimes for something like that with the cost in the warranty, it may serve the district well to do that now rather than wait for a problem. And the last thing that I put on my memo to the board, I just wanted to make sure you were aware of this, but the post-construction management services, Finney, you know, sent us a bill and I sent it back to him saying, that's not our bill. And he agreed, but he made it clear that he needed to do that first before he sent it on to the general contractor. It's like, understood, okay. And I will tell you, they have been there a lot in September and October, a lot. Like sometimes 4 or 5 times a week. Finney has, however, the construction management contract that they had that we were paying for up on the top page of the incidentals, that expired at the end of August because that's when it was anticipated to be done, but it wasn't. So, you know, that's primarily all labor on their end. But I thought that the board should know that. And, you know, that's it. I just wanted to try and give you a good accounting and overview of this.
Is it common practice that if they're late delivering the project, that those cost overruns because of it go back to the contractor? It could turn into a situation where it's a lot of finger pointing, and then it could be, well, this part of it was held up and whose fault was it? Is it the owner's fault? Is it the architect's fault? Was it one of the other subs' fault? I'm pretty confident that the GC is not going to own anything of that. Okay, and you know, we don't have counsel. Well, they're not coming to us requiring us to pay that bill. I'm just letting you know that they're not. But so I don't know if this, you know, what these considerations are when you would consider this, but you know, again, I think that we're very safe to say where we are in the position of with the near completion. You know, there are no big surprises.
No, I don't think so.
And, you know, and
If there was a big surprise, just, I don't say
Yeah.
question, but there's, I just had 2 questions about it. One,
Yes.
the meeting was just verifying that also includes in there, because I know we're talking about moving the meetings back in there probably by December. So when you say cameras, I assume it's their wine skills meeting room here and in there.
yes,
Okay, and
Yeah.
TVs, I don't know if we did it fully in wine skill, but have we thought about like smaller wing ones, like a smaller one off to a side where members who might be able to see all the way up to the front.
Well, what they wanted to, again, what they wanted to do is to kind of live it a little bit and then be able to come back with some recommendations to say, and that's why we wanted to have some money socked away here that wasn't accounted for, that we would be able to say, okay, this money could be used if we needed to do things as that.
That's
Yep.
fun.
Yep. Yep.
Was there a,
You were gonna, you said that you were looking for a TV for here.
Yes,
I don't know that we technically take the money out of the bond fund to accommodate that, like the server you could, because it's utilized by both
Gotcha.
buildings.
okay,
But as Rich was kind of saying a moment ago, we're gonna be using any savings from this bond fund to pay off the bond. So maybe we can free up money in the GL that won't have, do you know what I mean?
yeah, that,
So we'll have to work
yeah,
with
that's
that.
okay. That's the only really thing that,
ledger transfer?
yeah,
Right,
yeah.
Ledger
I would just like.
I just want to clarify.
Here, we can really explore the,
Yep,
even if it just came out, I know.
No, I agree, I just, for the public's sake, say that we're buying items.
Sure.
here, that,
Was there a, without going back in the file and trying to find it, was there a drop dead date on that quote from Sherwood we put up?
I mean, you, generally, it's looking to expire on, it actually already expired because I had it a little bit, but, I just spoke to him recently, so I'm pretty confident that he would extend it a little bit more. You know, he knew this was going before the board.
If we want to take that chance.
But I was gonna say,
Well,
the server is 8 years old.
Yeah.
New technology, older servers, hardware, security issues, stuff like that. I'm looking at this, I'm thinking like the server, the door reader, and the cameras, move forward with.
Mhm.
Sit back, like you were saying, with the TV and stuff, and do our research, see how it works out for Lions, that kind of thing. And then that's something we could do.
And see what they
Maybe
look
January, February, more forward.
Yep.
March even, or whatever a good timeline is, but,
See if those other three come in, I think we might have some savings there.
yeah, so just like maybe at least look at the server, the door reader stuff and the cameras.
Okay,
Because we know that stuff we're gonna do. I mean, I don't think there's any doubt.
So maybe best need to get the quotes, or if you already have quotes, do you want to act on that, or do you just want
I do. I mean, I have the
to?
quotes.
Server concerns me.
Yeah.
To be honest.
If the server crashed tomorrow, it would take us a block of time to get it back up and running. And it would probably be a rush job because we want to get back up and running. Most would be as good a job.
Or get it online, now we're having things like fire reporting, all these different
Right,
things.
exactly. It's end of the year and it's just.
Yep.
Let's,
So do you want just like a resolution to do this, or do you just want
I
to, obviously?
I would make a resolution, if we go forward with those three projects, the server, the door hardware and software. And the third.
The cameras.
The cameras.
Cameras, yeah. We move forward with those three. Where we got quotes for all three.
Yep.
Let's go with it. Get it done. Yeah, so resolved.
What about air compressors?
Finally, look it down below. The,
There's another, I mean, I know we have problems with it.
And that's one I think that's one we've all said, we're gonna do it as part of this project. It's just a matter of where we plug it in. Are we ready to plug it in or is it on a whole buffalo one?
I think it's something that the money's here, it's a big chunk of
also,
change.
wasn't there a safety issue with that at some point?
Well, we already bought the other half.
Yeah.
To get rid of the others, now we just need
We need the compressor.
the compressor half.
That's why, I mean, I would say, so basically, everything but the TVs right now, so.
I'll add the compressor.
Yeah, it was,
Yeah.
it's not like it's,
It's not like we're not gonna do
money,
it.
but it's, it's money.
No, it's
that's not
something
going out of our
that
budget.
we're going to do anyway.
It's just a matter of where we plug it into the project. Yeah, I'll amend it to include that.
Same thing. Or? Good with that?
Think of a second.
Like a second.
Okay. Resolution by Rich, second by Nick, roll call.
Chris. Rich.
Aye.
Brian.
Aye. Nick.
Aye.
And I.
Excellent.
Love the way we spend.
No, I don't, but it's.
They were necessary. They were necessary.
Appreciate everything done, putting all together, Bob.
Yep.
Very detailed. Very good, lost me. Down. All right, anything else for building, committee? Okay, department president reports, I don't see mine to go, so president's here.
How is it that I go first? So
Well, you
He's never here.
showed up.
I'm always here.
You arrived.
New interior firefighter application was submitted to Eric Spooner. His application was handed to him during our family night open house back in October, so that was a big grab there. Like he's very fit, looking forward to starting training, once he's approved to go. Building use request that was filed by Pam Belschwinder was canceled by her. They had to cancel their event, so that date is now calendar. This month, the VFD monthly member appreciation award or recognition was given to Emily Gary for excellent work that she's done for the department regarding recruitment and retention, our open house, and for training to be an apparatus operator. Just want to recognize her at this meeting for that. Our fire prevention family night was very successful. The estimate was that we attracted about 300 plus visitors. A lot of families and people were very involved with all the different things that were offered out to them. And they were very surprised that it was free. And we made a very strong point to point out that we were all volunteer fire department people. And they didn't know that, a lot of them. And so it was good event. The fundraiser that was held here for the Jones family burn injury was very successful. Raised over $3,000 for the cause. They thanked BFD and the fire district for letting them use the station for the event, and the barbecue sold out. So that was a very successful event for that. Our department staffed a recruitment information table here at the firehouse on election day. We handed out about 6 applications throughout the day. And this truly targeted the demographic that we're looking for here in town, which is 100% fire district residents that came through the door that day. So we received a lot of compliments. Hey, thanks for being here. We drummed up conversations. At least one application is forthcoming out of the 6, like meaning it's ready to be handed in. So that's good news. It was time well spent manning that table. And again, it was all town residents. It's not like it was people from the outside. So that was really good. And then I just wanted to let the district know, and many of you already may know, former DFD member Art Dell Jr. had passed away about 2 weeks ago. He was an active firefighter back in the 60s and 70s. His father was past chief of DFD, and his mother is a life member of the Ladies Auxiliary. He co-owned Art Dell's garage up on 43. I just want to let you guys know that. When you started off the meeting, you referenced in memory of somebody who I didn't catch that.
Oh, Art Dell and
Danny Carl.
Carl.
Danny Carl. Okay.
You say Art doesn't see.
Yeah, I was going to correct that. My apologies.
All right.
You caught it.
Yeah, I missed it, so thank you.
Yep. All right, we can act on these. Well, we have wines still too, but there's no president purchase in Dropbox, 2 applications. I don't know if the chiefs got the president's report, but if not, let's go off what's on the agenda. It's just proposed member John Hanlon reclassification of health employer. Pass these around. Anybody got any concerns?
I think it's great.
Let's see, guys come back.
So I would keep this on my motion to approve the 3 members. So moved. Dan, Chris, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Preferences. She wrote that line.
It's good to see people come back out there, especially, it's good, it's good to see. Approval prior months of minutes, everybody have a chance to look at those minutes. Sure. All right, motion to approve. Nick, Rich, All in favor? Aye. Treasurer's report, Sean.
Bank recs are heading your way. You should all have a copy in the digital Dropbox of the treasurer's report through October 31st. The money market account had a reconciled balance of $881,542.08, earning $1,941.96 worth of interest for the month. Breakdown is $738,942 for capital reserve equipment, $104,496 capital reserve building, $37,103 capital reserve repairs. Total interest year to date on the money market, $29,838. The WFD project account has a balance, reconciled balance of $686,809.21. It did earn interest of $1,766. We did earn interest year to date of $42,610. Checking account, $206,420.80 is the reconciled balance. All the bank recs are attached to the report. The last few pages, I have a list of all of the checks that were sent out. Who the payee was, the dollar amount, check number, date, for the month of October. In addition, the last 3 pages has a breakdown of our actual expenditures to budget through. Earlier today, we still had $185,759 remaining. However, about 75,000 of that is going to be earmarked for the interest that is accrued on the bonds. And then we have about 225,000, excuse me, 25,000, sorry about that, 25,000 in this month's invoices. So we have about 100,000-ish go for the remainder of the year.
There's some repair bills coming in soon too, still.
Yeah, and we still have other purchases outstanding. Also in the Dropbox, I submitted a copy of the receipt from the office's state controller's office for submitting the 2% tax cap form that has to be done annually by like November 4th. Other than that, I think my report.
So, the resolution to approve the treasurer's report. Nick, Chris, roll call.
Chris. Aye. Rich. Aye. Brian.
Aye.
Nick.
Aye.
Dan.
Aye. Right, approval of departments, current month's invoices. I'm not sure I had to look, but we see if it jumped out as questionable.
I would throw on. I thought I read one.
The resolution to approve the invoices. Dan? Nick, roll call.
Dan. Aye. Nick.
Aye.
Brian. Aye. Rich. Aye. Chris. Aye.
Correspondence.
Yes, received M&T month-end collateral statements ending 10/31/24. Received a letter of interest on 11/9 from Brian McCray asking to be put on the ballot for the commissioner's position for 2025 through 2029. I think that was a typo, 2020. I'll make that, I'll make that correction on the agenda. Eclipse sent us a notification saying that there will be a rate increase starting 1/1/25 by 5%. And we received the Fire District Affairs Bulletin for October and November for the AFD of New York. That's it on received. Nothing was sent.
Thank you. Old business, any old business? Go on to new business. I know we have some surplus equipment.
Yes, yeah, we, from Wyanskill, we have several older chairs. We have a couple desks and a couple file cabinets, and we have a lot of older appliances that we will need to surplus. It does not exceed $20,000, and I would request that we would be able to, list it on Auctions International like we normally do. They're still, going through a lot of the stuff, so I think we should be able to get the pods emptied out close to the end of November. So we don't have to continue renting them. I mean, that is $175 a pod, so it'd be nice to get rid of them, but we might be able to consolidate the stuff into one pod. And if I can get it on Auctions International close to the end of November, probably by the middle of December, we would have everything surplus and go on this. We're not looking at a lot of dollar value, but just to properly dispose of it.
Sure. Just need a resolution. Declare it to be surplus under $20,000. Okay, items. I'll make it. What's the second? Seconded by Rich. Roll call.
Chris. Rich. Brian.
Aye.
Nick.
Aye.
Dan. Aye.
Thank you. All right, November is the odd month, so Chief's report, Chief Clue.
Oh, really? You guys close for the month. We didn't have any purchases really at all. They were on last month, correct, Bob?
Yes.
Good news is we had 6 firefighters graduate last night from the IFLB phone class. So that's huge. We did that through our in-house stuff and they'll be on board. Town board will recognize the members that were on that third, successful reversal done on Glenwood Road. It got moved, from November's town board meeting to December's. Apparatus repairs, wasn't adding. Rescue 9, beautiful piece of equipment we have. High beam, directional, was broke, to replace that. Pump pressure relief valve was rebuilt. Pump panel throttle was rebuilt. Wet air tank relief valve was replaced. Was other minor issues which they were taking care of in-house. Antifreeze coolant was added to the reservoir. I don't know why you did that. That was it on that. That was for 9/7. What's the status of the rehab for 9/6 and Rescue 42? Are we moving forward with that? Can we keep them moving on it or?
Listen, wasn't like a,
The last time we have committees on both sides of town, I've asked a couple times what the status of it is and no movement. So we just gotta reinvigorate that and say, hey, I talked to Jeff at one point.
We're moving forward. I'm just asking, is the money there to
Yeah.
move forward with it?
Yeah, it's still in the plan. It's still in the
I
plan.
don't think I've seen the list, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, we're still working on it, but I mean, why put the work in if it's not gonna be there? So
No,
I'm
it's
just
still
asking
planned,
if that's-
it's still planned because we need to get maximum life out of both.
All right, so I'm asking.
Right, I think, I know you guys report, I'm not sure if we got anything from, OS. You have to my skills report, see where they're at with their side of it, because I haven't heard anything on that end.
And, the end of my report, most of you already know, but I will not be returning a sheet next year. So. End of report.
But we do thank you seriously for the past couple of years.
Yeah,
We do,
It was a good time.
sincere.
put up with Rich, and it's a good time. Oh, I'm sorry, Rich.
Just me.
Very well,
I'm
thank you.
good.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Lionsville Chief Littlefield.
All right, so you're lucky my voice is limited tonight. Couple minor purchases, couple things to discuss with the board. We do have an incident report where we had a minor injury at a traffic accident. I don't know how much we really want to talk about that. It's pretty cut and dry.
Yep.
There's a quote for truck 42 to kind of finish up some of the repairs. That might come up later in apparatus because that's kind of tied in with that discussion, I assume. Rich, you agree?
Yeah, we could discuss them both.
Okay.
It's not a huge quote, so it's not a big deal.
The other thing I have for the board is one of the town residents reached out about burning down an old barn up on Snyder's Lake Road. I know this isn't something we typically do. So hold on. I went and looked at it, discussed it with the resident, and they're kind of willing to do whatever requirements need to be fulfilled, but that's not something that I know exactly what every step is. So,
On that, I don't believe, fire departments should be burning any fire structures down. There's multiple liabilities. There's been firefighters killed and it becomes, there's all kinds of issues. The legal side of it, I believe New York State alone.
Yeah, I think the building code was changed years ago to prevent it.
Yeah.
So that, because too many people were doing it to take advantage of just, eliminating just demolition costs. And the way I understand it is that if the fire department's gonna get some kind of valid training of operations out of the burn, then it can be done after all the health mitigations and everything else are done. But, people say, well, we're gonna use it to train on, water supply. You can spray water in an empty field to train for water supply. You don't need to burn a barn down to do that. So, that's a real hard reach, and I don't know that we could make that reach.
Yeah, and also, there's DEC issues now with burnings, there's asbestos in the building, there's all kinds of issues. And,
Yep.
I mean, I can give the legal background of it, but, at work,
I spoke to Terry about this back in March not for our fire district, but a friend of mine has property in another county, a house that he was looking to reach out to the local fire department, see if they wouldn't burn it down. And I actually have his response here. I said, I spoke with the fire district attorney. He said, barely anyone does controlled burns anymore, partly because the prep work is so involved and it's cost prohibitive. He said, you can let the fire department use it for training, but you should have a written agreement where the fire department indemnifies you, meaning the fire department, not how much training you're going to barn. Also insists that they secure the first floor, which wouldn't really apply to this. That's so.
Yeah, and usually the people try and make it lucrative by saying, well, we'll give the fire department $500 donation. No, well, they're giving us a $500 donation for something that would cost them $5,000 to do properly. So, it's not like they're doing us any big favors by asking us to do it. And quite honestly, I think our members are busy enough doing real training and other things to take a Saturday to stand around and watch a barn burn.
Yeah, and if you want, Chief, you can give them my number, email, whatever. I mean, I think it's pretty much, I don't think it moved before that.
yeah, I kind of figured it was a no, but I didn't have the 7-minute explanation of why it was no. So,
Have them feel free to reach out to me and needs to be explained further. I can do that. So,
okay.
Yep.
That's really all I got. I don't know if you guys want to talk about that incident report or not. I mean, it's kind of cut and dry. So
Not in this forum.
Okay.
We do have the estimate for Bulldog for the work on truck 4 too. So we have consideration.
Yeah.
Yes.
I got a question on that one. Did the waterway seals get replaced when all that other work was done on the ladder?
No. No.
Okay. Okay, because that's the vast majority of it. That's the vast majority of it.
That was, Rich, just so you know, that was never an issue back then. That's not what failed. And I mean, it just wasn't tested, more extensively. So that's why that wasn't even.
The rest of it, well, you take those 3 items out, 4 items out of there, and the rest of it's just routine maintenance.
Yeah.
Wear and tear. Door handle. A warning light.
Yeah, it's the seals. I mean, this stuff that's got to get done now, or
I mean, it could wait a little bit, but
I mean, the seals. With the seals, I'm thinking.
Wait till better weather, or wait a year.
I just want to make sure we got 19,000.
Well, it really comes down to are we going to move on with the next step that we have a possibility of? Because then we're just duplicating spending money on the same stuff. So
yeah, and that's if we can wait a month.
That's for the other topic. So
if we can wait a month or 2 on this to determine how close we are on the other path, discuss
yeah.
Then I think that'll probably give us a better.
But do we at least take care of things like the switch? I mean, I see warning light. I don't like the idea of warning lights.
Yeah, I would say everything but the seals at this point.
Right. Just move forward with the work, aside from the seals.
I would say everything but the seals.
Brian, the only thing I would ask is if they know next month that they, they want to go ahead with that,
Sure.
we'll know better where we stand
Oh,
financially.
absolutely, yeah.
And then we could accrue it, ahead of time, so it'd still be in this year's budget. If there's
I
room.
just don't think we can let some
No,
of these
no, I
repairs
agree.
need to happen.
I'm just saying, if, we were considering pushing it off to next year because of money, we might be able to still get it this year.
So I mean, get a resolution to take care of the work in this quote, with the, this estimate here minus the seals for now. Let's get some of that work done now. This is the resolution. Rich, seconded by Nick, roll call.
Chris, Rich, Brian.
Aye.
Nick,
Aye.
Dan.
Excellent. So we can go forward. We can put the seals for now and then go forward with that.
Do good things.
Excellent. Thank you, Chief.
Okay.
All right, unless you had something else, my apologies. I thought it was the last. If you had something-
The other topic I don't want to talk about in this format, so.
All right. We need an executive session.
Well, I don't know.
Informal first. Or... You can think about it and text me.
Okay.
Going to committee reports for now, apparatus and equipment, Rich, Nick.
That's a good segue from the discussion we just had. The apparatus committee met, truck court committee met a week or so ago with a representative from, can't remember the names of the company, but one was the state sales for Spartan apparatus, Spartan themselves. And the other is a representative for the company that, one of the companies that LTI, who built the original ladder for American LaFrance. And they are proposing a partnership between them to basically unbolt the ladder off the existing truck and put it under a new chassis. Put it on a new chassis. And that would include not just the ladder, but it would basically be everything from the cab back. And the body would be completely stripped down, bare metal, any repairs that were necessary would be done. Would all be put back together. It would be, when it came back out of the factory, it would not be a rehab 2003. It would be a 2025, 2026, whatever it is. So that would be a huge, we'd be starting that 20-year NFPA clock again. Based on the guy from LTI's assessment, and I mean, he wasn't climbing around with a microscope or anything, said there's nothing wrong with this truck. I mean, you got major work done a couple of years ago. This ladder is gonna last forever, the kind of use we give it, it's gonna last forever. Make a long story short, it's like, okay, what's the advantage of doing this for us? The advantage is, the disadvantage first, I'll give you. The disadvantage is that about 30 days before the new chassis arrived at the factory, they would take the old truck 4.2, the existing truck 4.2, and take it down there and strip it and get it ready for this transformation. And then that transformation take a full 14 to 16 months, right? So we're looking at roughly 16, 17 months without a truck. So there's options to lease, there's options to buy one, just a pedal at the end. We can work with our mutual aid companies and see what their thoughts are. We can meet with them. There's options there. The advantage, and Sean, don't hit your button, but the advantage is they're not talking. I mean, initially we had heard, you could save $1 million. We're going to save $1 million, but we're going to save in his off the record, off the cuff. Look at it closer to 800,000, which is a significant amount of money when and they flat out told us that what do we got in the budget for the new one?
2.4.
2.4. That's probably a little low. It's probably accurate if we were ordered today. It's going to be a little low if we order somewhere down the road, because even after the first year, there's going to be price increase. There's no way we're going to beat There's no way we're gonna beat the motor chassis cooling system change with the new motors. He says those chassis are already spoken on. He says some of the manufacturers may have a few, because they buy them in bulk, that aren't committed to yet. But, Spartan doesn't have any land around, and they don't have any uncommitted. So, we're not gonna beat that one. So that price increase is there anyway. So that's where we are with it. They're gonna come back hopefully within the next month or so with a proposal that we'll either be able to take at face value and put it out as a request for a bid even to other companies. Or if it's too specific to Spartan LTI, we may have to make it a little bit more generic so that others, so that it's a fair quote. So that we're, we're not asking somebody to build somebody else's truck. So that's what we are with it. I've been getting phone calls from the other people that were like, oh, you're gonna come, you want us to come meet with you and tell us talk to you about the new truck? And then pulled them off. Vandermolen / Sutphen has a 100-foot straight stick in this week, that they got an opportunity to show. And I said, no, first off, we're not interested in the straight stick. And secondly, we're pursuing this other option right now. The good news I did get on the Vandermolen call is that Larry, who has been somewhat of a problem from time to time, I believe, no longer works there. So that's news information for Jeff if he didn't know it already.
Already knew.
Okay. Well, I hadn't heard it. They wanted to make sure that we knew that. So that there was clearly a method to their madness of making sure that we knew that. So that's it on apparatus. Chief Luke brought up about the other two. Yeah, that's still in the plan. I know that people have been really busy this year, so I've been pushing that hard for it, but it is something we planned on doing.
Teresa, they've been working on it. I don't know, Chief Littlefield is still there. They started looking at Rescue 4.2 or any update on that?
No, I think they just kind of left it at when they gave you guys the presentation a few months ago. So we'll get it to come back around.
Chief, I know they got a lot of the spec books and all that from when we redid Rescue 9 to give them an idea on the kind of things they might want to think about, how to put it all together. I don't know where those books wound up with when you had to box everything up, so they're probably being uncrated somewhere, so.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Yeah,
ideally. It's kind of
We'll get it
going,
circled around again.
because, we'd like to get what we're gonna do with 9.6 Rescue 4.2 done. Before we start rolling into truck 4.2 Rescue 9, you know what I'm saying, just try to.
Yep.
Get these projects out of the way before the truck things.
Absolutely.
I mean, obviously, it's not, I don't think it's gonna be done between now and December for both departments, but really keep moving on this.
Yep.
Chief Lucas,
Just one thing with, when we purchase new apparatus, we should just invest in extended warranty for the after treatment and engines. We're all worth the money.
For the what?
After treatment and the engines,
After treatment? What do you mean by after treatment? I don't know what the term.
DEF, particulate filters.
So that they do all that kind of work?
A knock sensor is $2,000 and you're gonna go through knock sensors probably every 2 years.
Okay.
And you can get them out on fire apparatus, I think they'll go out like 10 years. You're probably talking $10,000, but I'm telling you right now. Okay, so
I'll spend more than that.
you get that particulate filter burned out or whatever, that's $2,000. Knock sensors, you're gonna start replacing them. I was trying to tell you about 9.7. Yeah, we already replaced the knock sensor in the tank and a pump on 9.7. So any new apparatus you get that's got after treatment on it, buy the warranties. You may think it's a big number at $10,000, probably gonna go up more with the new regulations, but trust me, you will get your money. I do it at work to get our money back 3 or 4 fold on top of it.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
No, it's good advice.
Good advice, yeah.
You know far more about that than I do. That's
yeah, any new engines that you get, unless they change something, I would buy the engine and after treatment, then the warranties for as far as you can get them on.
5 plus of us, 7 of us, we can remember.
Yeah,
that.
really.
If not, I'm sure. Who's on roads, I think. So, no, that's good advice. All right, so let's see if we can get the reports. I mean, I know you guys are working on this, but get something a little more from we start getting this going here.
We brought out to the first vendor last week, so we're looking to go with other vendors.
So we can get rescue four two caught up a bit, so to speak, and we can get them out. We're not gonna hold one, I don't think we can hold up one for the other. So you don't want two pieces out of sort of same
They're
time,
independent,
so
they're independent projects.
get 9-6, we'll address it, rescue four two, suggest that they come in front of us. That's fair to say. All right, anything else for apparatus equipment? Building and grounds, before we get into the one topic. I say, Brian, Chris. There is, going to Dropbox, there's a email that comes from Stephen Hart, who's for Hart Engineering, he's working for Miller Animal Hospital. You guys a chance to find it. It's basically talking about extending the sewer to Miller's, and summing it up, basically. They're just going to start looking at connecting to the line that they had the option years ago when we built the station, them and Yonder Farm started to connect to it. Whatever reasons it wasn't done. So basically, if I'm wrong in this, please, by all means, they got some drawings where they're going to try to do the gravity line. They won't have their pavement up. They're going to do some horizontal drilling, but just doing this connection. But it's kind of neat. They're basically asking if we would allow the connection, but they would stay in touch with us as to how they're going to do it. So they wouldn't. It's not letting them start work, but it's just saying they're just asking us to say yes if we're basically if we approve the way you're doing it. We have no issues with them connecting to our sewer line. It should be at no cost to us, obviously. But they just need kind of like, before they even start doing their leg work, they're just asking if we would give them permission to do it, should they find a reasonable way of doing it.
Aren't they extending the county sewer line down Route 4 anyways? I thought they were in some county.
Not sure, it's the first I heard that.
I haven't heard anything about that project moving forward in months.
But they got like a grant for 1.4 million or something.
It does.
It's being, that project, my understanding, is being led, not by the town, but by one of the county legislators. So it's gonna be a county sewer extension, the way I understand it. So I don't know exactly how it's gonna even play out. Mark Lassalita might have more information on it, but.
So basically, I mean, that's a good point, but like if we're just giving them permission to explore, and then subsequently we find out that that's going right down to 4 anyway, it's probably all a moot conversation.
It may or may not, because the cost of them coming across Route 4
Yeah, on the side.
maybe a lot more than the cost of them tying it back here.
Right, so just give them the option to go ahead and explore the idea.
Yeah.
If we're open to it, they're not gonna do the legwork unless we stay where it's basically they're gonna connect into where the manhole is out there.
As long as they understand that,
They're not gonna take any, sorry, go ahead.
we're not proving it, we're just.
No, that's what I'm saying, it's just, I think it was wording, it was from November 25th. If we're willing to allow the connection, it's like the second to last line in there, third to last line. If Fire District is willing to allow this connection, we would certainly investigate the connection method further. They're going to communicate to us before, we're not saying, we'll consider it, but we want to see how they're going to do it. And if it's not acceptable to us, if they come in and say, we got to rip everything up, well, probably not. They say it's simple as them going underground and it's just hooking into something that's already existing, and there's no disturbance to landscape, parking lot, it's their money. You have to see if they can do it, because the way the line was put in, and Bobby, you're an expert on this historically, but because it didn't go over to Yonder Farms, we were able to raise the line a bit. So they gotta look into the, I don't want to say the fancy engineering ways of making it work.
That's
That's
what they say,
not our-
if their language says they're gonna drill under our existing blacktop. Right, so that tells me they're probably gonna have a pressure line at a pump station. They're gonna have their own sewer pump, and it's gonna be a forced sewer main to get to the manhole.
Yeah, that's most likely what they would do. And all they're really looking for now is just like, is the board willing to discuss this? Because if the board said, no, we don't want it, then they would look at other avenues. The board 3 years ago did the same thing when they were looking at doing the project then. They asked for the same permission to have a discussion about it, and the board did approve it then, the same thing, like, yeah, well, you prove that you would discuss it. this would probably require an easement. Also, if it went underneath, it would require an easement, so.
If anybody has any concerns, discussion on. Do we need a motion on that, or does we need a motion, but
I make a motion to tell them that
We'll listen.
we're interested in discussing it.
so, motion by Rich, second by Dan, all in favor? Aye. You let Steve know, and I'm kind of make a note to be at the plan board meeting on the 25th when this comes up. They're doing a presentation on the 25th. So. District personnel, Dan and myself. Open here for now. Financial insurance audit, Dan and Nick. Son, long range plan, not plan review. Nick, I won't say it works, it just wasn't.
No,
Nobody thinking, just obviously going forward with the rehabs as part of the long range plan anyway, so.
get through Christmas and New Year and.
We'll have our annual meeting to assess where we're at. Policies, procedures, and membership. LoSAP. Chief's president, LoSAP. Excellent. We did set up a meeting with the BSI. Sorry, Sean.
I'm sorry, yeah, we have a representative coming in, our next monthly meeting, Sarah Riccio from the FIS. If you could, any questions you want to funnel towards her, have her prepped ahead of time, you could email me, let me know.
Yep.
I was gonna, smart when we were exploring, the other potential for LoSAP program.
Right, contributions.
Yeah.
And
So
so, I mean,
she could talk to us about that.
and that was the idea when we were talking about the LoSAP, one of the contribution type. If there's questions, we can gather them. You should maybe email it myself with the next one yourself. I'll form some questions, which I'll share with everybody else, and we'll just do one document, so she has a few weeks to,
She did,
yes.
just an FYI, she submitted the paperwork to VFIS, she has to get approved for the travel, so, but she doesn't think it'd be a problem, but that was 2 weeks ago, I still haven't heard back from her.
The amount of money we spend with them,
Yeah.
if it's a problem for them. to send
Hopefully they're
something.
watching. Right. I'll keep you posted on that as well.
All right, no, but I mean, so let's get our questions together. Don't have any questions, that's also obviously an answer, but, hopefully it's a good presentation. Or at least get some answers so we know what we can do going forward, if we can even go forward.
If you're formulating those questions, like possibly we'll be defining the contribution plan versus benefit. I would have her look at that, maybe new members going in. She may, I don't know, how much access do they have to our current defined contribution plan? I mean, none, because they don't run it, right?
Right, they don't.
Or do they know it exists and everything? I mean.
I don't know that they know.
Well.
Michelle knows it, I don't know how. if Michelle
I think we should share it. I mean,
Oh,
maybe they can look at whether, I'm not saying we should move it, but just. I think they should know fully what we have out there, and it kind of also lets them know there's a little bit of competition. They're not the only game in town.
true.
Right, let's see, yeah. Oh, excellent. Well, so we got anything else for LoSAP? Business operations and technology, Dan and Nick.
So last month, I believe it was, you had brought up about us moving back into the commissioner's room for our meetings, and I mentioned those pictures that are on the wall. We approved getting quotes to replace those up to date. So we did receive one quote from Curran Photography. $800. It'd be pictures of the 10 apparatus, 2 posters, framed. Lloyd's also responded today to Bob. It's been a while getting hold of them. They're going to submit a quote. But I'd like to request approval up to $1,000. That just gives us some cushion to move forward with that. And Bob and I will decide the vendor. But I think before we get anything made up large, we could share with the board, what the draft looks like.
So you want to make the resolution there?
Sure, I'll make it.
All right.
Just got a quick question for you.
Oh, sorry. My bad. I should say
Doing
questions.
doing the math in my head right now, it says up to 10 pieces of apparatus, we have almost 16, don't we?
You said it wasn't the Chiefs.
Wasn't doing the Chiefs
I
vehicles.
was counting Chiefs vehicles.
What's that?
I wasn't even counting Chiefs vehicles. Well,
5.
I didn't
Well,
know,
I told him like,
I didn't know if we're counting utility, I mean, I just doing the real quick math in my head, I was at. You know what I mean, is it really 12?
yeah, I mean, I did tell him 6 and 6. I mean,
I just.
that's what I told him. Yeah,
I mean, we want all our apparatus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I increase it a little bit, just, to, you know?
I'd rather cover it, just like I said, Chiefs vehicles change too much to worry about.
Yeah.
those.
Yeah.
I mean,
All right, make it $1,200.
The Chiefs vehicles change out often enough for them.
yeah.
If it's more than $1,200, we'll revisit it again.
Right.
But it's looked awful.
No, I agree with you.
you. But I agree, we don't wanna leave one out.
So we'll amend that to up to $1,200. Was made by Danny, seconded by Chris. Roll call.
Real quick,
Oh, sorry.
24 by 36, do you know what size is in there now?
that might be like a 36 by 36
I'm
or,
just thinking, we may wanna give him the measurements of that wall. We don't wanna make it look like we have two little things just floating in the ocean. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Yeah, we can,
Let's go with the 1,200. If it turns out it's more, we'll just put it on pause and revisit it next month.
I think we can have a more in-depth meeting with them,
Yeah,
you know, if we decide Curran instead of Lloyd.
whoever we're gonna pick.
Yeah,
they
right, we
Come
can have-
out,
Yeah,
you don't wanna look like two postage stamps hanging
Yeah.
in the. All right.
I'll do it the right way this time. Any other discussion? Sorry. Sorry. No, it's good. No, that's important. It's good that was my fault. We were getting on a roll there. So.
Yeah.
All right, so resolution amended to up to 1,200, was made by Dan, seconded by Chris. Roll call.
Chris.
Aye.
Rich.
Aye.
Brian.
Aye.
Nick.
Aye.
Dan.
Aye.
Development plan review. Of course, I haven't going forward.
No,
I mean, they're just moving forward with projects, secondary and stuff like that, but, nothing really new there. Fire medic operations, Chris.
I got a couple things. I just got on a conference call with some of the people that have been kind of leading the charge or on the pushback and the information sharing with regard to the new OSHA standard. And the kind of focused around what impact is the presidential election potentially going to have on it. And the feeling is that it probably will still move along, although the feeling is that it will greatly be slowed down as far as implementation and the requirements of an implementation schedule. So that it's going to be something that will be it'll be something that it'll be reachable, which is, I think, what everybody's been asking for, because as most people have said, there's lots of good stuff in this proposed standard.
Yeah.
It's just that you can't flick that light switch on for, all this stuff to happen in 1, 2, 3, 2 or 3 budget years. It can't be done by most fire departments, by any fire department, really. So we're still, waiting to see. I am scheduled to, I think I got a 7 or 10 minute block of time to speak on one of the public hearings. One of the public hearing days, they're gonna be on between a certain amount of time. I don't know how those are gonna actually play out. I'm gonna try and listen to them in advance, so I don't say anything redundant. But the focus of what I was gonna talk about, unless somebody else is gonna come to me with something else to lean on, wasn't what was in the standard. It was about the implementation schedule and how do you give the smaller fire departments time to probably budget for this, plan for it, and then actually implement. So that's the direction we're gonna go with that. That's the,
You don't want this to be the common core of, you don't want this to be the common core of the fire service.
yeah.
Seriously.
The other thing is, I don't know how many of you got a chance to see the email that I replied to Bob earlier. But again, I want to thank Bob for getting those SOPs into the link in the Dropbox. We've got them accurately every month. I had a screw up last month. I gave somebody some wrong information, caused some heartache, and I apologize. I need some pro. I was dead wrong. But having those SOPs right out there when we get hold of them, I think would be very handy to us. And that's what kind of got me thinking about our members should have access to that stuff behind the firewall. So Dan, when it comes time to looking at what we're doing with, the business operations and that website, I think that's something we really gotta start to drill down.
We've talked about that for a while.
I know, and we keep toying with it. And I've been going around looking at other fire departments, what they're doing with the fire districts. There's some really good ideas out there. I think we can,
One place posts the tenants reports, at least everything that you would have here is mirrored there, so you can just check it from home. And the forum message boards you discussed. There's a lot of good you can do on a member site.
and there's things that we can put behind the firewall. There may be things that we don't want the general public to see. They're intrinsic to the internal operations of the district. They want to know what that bad, there's an application stack in each station. Having behind the firewall allows, and then forms, somebody needs the form to submit for, their cell phone reimbursement or their, gym reimbursement. The form can be right there. All requirements for filling out the form.
That's stuff in form, everything.
Yeah, all that stuff can be right there. So I just like to see us move in that direction. Well, Bob, thanks again for.
Retention, Rich and Chris.
Was contacted by the DFD recruitment chair, yesterday, today, I don't remember. This was one of the emails that came through yesterday or today. And she wants to sit down and have a meeting, as big or small, if we want to have it, to start to line out some plans for next year. To take a look, because we actually have a budget item this year. Right, it's not this big, but I said it's a starting point. So there's some things that, I guess she spoke to some of the folks from, Lionsville Station, and there's some things that, they're in agreement that we should probably consider purchasing. And then there's some other discussion that they want to have about the direction we're going with it, or how we'll work it, so.
Okay, I just want to make sure you have blind skills. It's good to hear.
Yep.
So I want to make sure.
And in discussion with her, I would say that, I think she's of the mindset, and I am, that we need to put as much effort or more effort in retention as we do. Because with retention, we've already got trained people. I mean, look at the advantages of bringing John Hanlon and Buddy Porter back. How much training are they going to need to come back up online compared to somebody who walks in off the street tomorrow? There's a big advantage to that.
No, good idea. But it's good to see these, these guys come back. It's good to see all those members, graduate people. I feel it's awesome. It's
There's 7 of them, I think.
six for Marin. Mine's got 1 or 2.
The press thing said had 7 names. I don't know.
Yeah, I think, it would be, but yes, it's just.
The one that issues a
Pardon?
default.
Oh, one with people, that's right, yeah.
Just hey, there's a job for them too. So,
Job for people, yeah.
all right, don't make you cheap little fields, but public sessions. Public session. I'm saying request for executive session. So with that, motion to adjourn made by Nick,
I'll second.
second by Rich. All in favor? Aye. Happy Thanksgiving.
Are you going into executive session? Is that what you said?
No, I.
Oh, there's not.
21, so.
Okay, gotcha.